Welcome to Season 1, Episode 7 of Pockets of Joy with Niamh O'Connell, your weekly dose of happiness. Today my guest is creator of the Care Bears and Strawberry Shortcake, Muriel Fahrion in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Let's dive into this pocket of joy and hear her share memories of her beloved father, her Irish connection, her creative life and meeting fans, her favourite foods, movies and so much more. Share this with other 80s kids and check my YouTube channel for the video version. I'm so relieved, Muriel. Yay!
So I just got off of Zoom, by the way.
Okay. Oh, you're all set up then.
I was set up because I was with I have my therapy. I have therapy every 2 weeks, virtual.
Yeah.
Do I need therapy? I think we all need therapy.
Oh, I have therapy every month. It used to be every week for a while.
So it's every 2 weeks, and we just do 45 minutes, and it's really a download,
Yeah.
for me.
Right. Yeah.
And then I get her opinion, and then we go from there, and it's all good.
I love it. I think every responsible adult should have therapy. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's like, sure, there was reasons when I first started. My husband was dying. It was awful. It was horrible. We went through all that kind of stuff. And then I had therapy because I think I had a nervous breakdown among all that.
Yeah.
Etc.
Yeah. I'm not surprised.
And then I went on and then I had a stroke. It's like, oh, and it's like, okay, we get through that. And then I realized that no, I'm really good with this now, my therapy, and I would miss it if I didn't have it. And her specialty is children's play.
Oh wow. Excellent. That's really nice that she has that connection with you and your work as well.
Yeah, it's like, okay, that's perfect for us,
That's
children's
gorgeous.
play. Yes, and she takes all kinds. She's a small town therapist.
Yeah.
So she gets everybody, no matter what age they are, but
Yeah. Something I find so inspiring about you, and I see we've jumped in. I haven't even done an intro, but
no.
I'll do the intro before this. But I love
Okay.
that you show up every day. You are dressed for success. You just look like you are having the best time of your life,
I am.
despite everything you've been through, and it's amazing to see.
It's I thought about it. Yesterday was my birthday.
Oh, happy birthday.
Thank you. So this is my joke. My joke is the following. I said, it's my birthday. I get to wear what I want to wear. I get to have the breakfast I want to have, and I get to listen to the music I want to hear because I can do that every day.
Oh, I love it.
Yes,
I love
every
it.
day.
What is your favorite breakfast, Muriel?
Oh, well, I have a thing called, it's a whey powder, and I put it in with strawberries, banana, and yogurt, and a little oat milk, and mix it all up. So that way I'm getting my protein with the whey, and it's just like a real full breakfast for me. So that's number one. And number two is I have shredded wheat, and then I put raisins, bananas, and pecans on that.
Oh, delicious.
So that's another one. So kind of off and on with those two. I'm pretty regular with, eating that stuff. I like a breakfast. Oh yeah.
That's very healthy choices. I thought maybe your characters were inspired by your love of blueberry muffins. I thought you'd say that or something.
Well, no, but I do make blueberry muffins. I make it microwave.
Oh.
It's interesting. So you just it's very interesting. You put in coconut powder and a banana, again, like a half a banana, and one egg. So you're getting a lot of stuff in there, and you get then you put the blueberries and whatever sweetener, just like a tablespoon of whatever you want to put in there, honey or coconut sugar or anything like that, and then you put it in the microwave for 3 minutes, and yay!
Oh, that's so cool. I'm going to give that a go. I'll look up the quantities online and link a recipe like that down below.
And then I usually have yogurt on the side, so that I can put a little bit of yogurt with it as I go. I've had yogurt since the 70s. When it first started being available, I started with yogurt, and I have it almost every day.
Beautiful. It's so good for you. So good for your gut.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Good for
I'm,
you.
I'm, yeah, and so I eat real well, and so my son helps me with that. He's not here; he's in San Francisco, but
Okay.
he is like he does the cooking for his wife and himself, and he just, I mean, he knows
Yeah,
what we have. He really is aware of what the good food is. Yeah,
that's really cool. And you have an Irish connection, don't you? Is one of
I
your
do.
of
Yeah.
Irish origin?
So it's Norris is my maiden name, and that comes from it's Irish. And I visited Ireland in 2007, and it was my most favorite vacation ever, 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 because for many different reasons. But I wasn't really looking for my roots. I know we came from Palace Kenny or something like that.
Mhm.
But I wasn't, but some gentleman walked out of his house, and I think he's a professor of some sort. He comes out and he's there to save the Victorians because they're tearing them down. And so he's there, but we were in Moon, um, looking for that Celtic Christian cross. It was a crossover between that. It's
Yeah.
fabulous, fabulous. So anyway, he's like, "Are you looking for your roots?" I go, "Not really," but he says, "Like, what's your name?" And I said, "Norris." "Oh, that then you're from blah blah blah," and he says, "Your family goes back to Presbyterian."
Wow.
Really, this is interesting because all this time I thought we were Catholic down to, you know, no, I'm now Presbyterian, which I thought was very interesting.
That's
Yeah,
cool. You met the right guy. If he had
I met all the way through, we met the right people.
oh, that's so cool.
You just open yourself up to that, you know? It's like you're in Ireland, take in whatever stuff you can, you
Mhm.
know, the bridge, which is like I guess international, and they help each other. And there was a restaurant run by the bridge, and these people that have, disabilities run the restaurant. And usually it's like I think a brain disability of some sort, and or they're just like challenged, right? And so they sell fresh fruits and vegetables, and they have this cute little restaurant. I don't remember what the town was. I'm gonna say Westford, but I'm really not sure. And then, oh gosh, the people we meet were just marvelous. We went into this one um,
Mhm.
uh, bed and breakfast, and we go in, and the woman had a little sad feeling to her, and she had tea and scones for us, and it
Oh,
was really sweet. And I thought, oh, there's something that's going on here. And I said, "Tell me about you." That's my line. And she said, "My mother died last week."
oh,
And I thought, "Oh, tell me about your mother." And then we had that wonderful chat.
oh. That's so sweet. I get that too. I don't know why, but strangers tend to tell me their life stories and their traumas.
Oh, yeah.
It sounds like you have that thing too with people.
Oh, yeah. And now that I see thousands and thousands and thousands of people that come to my conventions,
Yeah,
I am open to stories.
yeah.
And some of them are like, I had everything shortcake and Care Bears and blah, 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 blah. And I said, you belong to a group called the Spoiled Ones, but in a good way. That
Yeah,
means people loved you
yeah.
and they showed their love by giving you these things. And then there's the ones with the fractured childhoods. And I said, you came from a fractured childhood.
Mhm.
I understand this. And who else are you going to tell but me?
Yeah.
Because you tell me why the shortcake dolls and the Care Bears helped you. And
Mm.
I understand this. Some tough ones.
Yeah, I can
I
imagine.
see, I see them coming. I can see them down the line. I'm thinking, okay, steel yourself because this is going to be a hard one.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
Very hard.
I'm glad you mind yourself with that therapy every 2 weeks. It sounds like that's something you definitely need when you take on other people's energies. So,
Yes. Yeah.
yeah.
And my daughter, I love my daughter, but she's organizational. She's adopted, so we don't have to say. And she's like, I don't get it, Mime. Why do they all want to talk to you? Why is that so important? And after a while, she got it
Okay.
when she assisted me. She understood after a while
Hmm.
that when people say you saved my childhood, it's mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling when they say that, but I can understand it.
That's beautiful. You've brought tears to my eyes. I need a tissue after that.
Yeah.
Special. I loved the Care Bears, but I wasn't a spoilt child, but I wasn't a neglected child either. But
Yes.
Santa, Father Christmas did not bring me what I asked for every year. I
Oh no, mine never do.
I got
No.
books, I got jigsaws, I got
Uh,
educational materials and piano
uh-huh.
lessons, and that was the love my parents showed me. So my
Yeah.
Care Bear collection only started in my 40s when I
Oh
realized
my gosh.
I
Ah!
can make these for
Yeah,
myself
so
now.
here's original. Here's an original.
Oh yeah, that would have been my dream one back in the
So
80s.
she has like the small ears. This is from my drawing, right? And the person that did the prototyping was my sister Susan.
Oh wow.
So when we did the shortcake, and this is a little later version. This came with like donuts or something like that, crazy.
Oh wow.
Um, yeah, so this one, the one who did, so when we did the thing and it became like, this is gonna go licensed, this is gonna go big time. And they said, but we need someone to do a doll for us. And we were all 2D artists because we were in the greeting card, so we're illustrators. Anybody know anybody? I said, my sister can, who's fabulous seamstress. She did whole wedding parties, made all her kids' clothes, all that kind of stuff. So I knew she could. So I said, my sister can. She only has 6 kids. So she's my older sister, so I got to be her boss.
Oh, that's so cool. And you got her a
Yeah.
job. Fair play. That's really
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. So she did that. She did the Care Bears. She did the Shortcake Dolls. She did the Get Along Gang,
Oh, I
and
love
yeah, she did them all. I mean, from my drawings, I don't know anyone who could ever do it better than what she did.
that's a
And
real engineering brain to make something in 3D from a 2D picture, to be able to see that.
yes, and
That's
and it's something that we all share, and most of us share in the family because I could also do a 3D rendering and animation. And I understand it and when I did the manuals for the toy lines, I could turn them around in my head,
excellent.
my
Yeah.
my drawing. And so doesn't have anything to do with this, but so I was born blind in one eye.
Wow.
Uh-huh. So I'm
I'm
blind in my left eye was born that way. And
wow.
then astigmatism and all kinds of stuff going on with my right eye. And but they never told me that I was defective. It was,
Excellent.
it was never told me that I'm defective and you can't be an artist.
Wow.
But the rumor is that between my mother and my grandmother, they would talk, and my mother and my grandmother would say, "What's ever going to happen to Muriel?"
Look where you ended up. Do you know what?
Well, yeah.
It's amazing how you've overcome that and you never thought of yourself as less than. That's fantastic.
Well, where it really affected me, it was in gym,
Okay.
because anything that's coming toward me, I have no idea where it is in time and space. I'm farsighted on top of that.
Yeah.
So I had no idea where that is. I got hit in the head. And since I'm tiny, I'm 4'11", but I was like 5'1.5" at my tallest. And because I'm tiny, like who wants me on their basketball team? Nobody.
I think sports are overrated anyway. I think most creative people I speak to did not also play sports. It's one or the other you get gifts in, I think.
So I have to say in sports, this is where I excel.
Oh,
Bowling,
oh yeah.
because the ball goes away from me and I'm farsighted. So that works. And kayaking.
Ah,
Not not fast kayaking, slow kayaking on lakes.
oh,
And I
love.
did that for most of my life. And I love it. If there's people like, oh, so do you meditate? I don't meditate. However, the closest thing I could say to meditating is kayaking,
Mhm.
because it's slow and on a lake. So you just like go. And I lived near a refuge for quite a while that took in wild animals, right? It had bison, elk, prairie dog, longhorn steer, a lot of stuff. And you could go on the lake and go right up to the bison.
Wow,
and the egrets, and nobody's going to move because they're so quietly on the top of the lake. So that's my sports.
that's so cool.
And I guess I don't know if dancing qualifies, but obviously I've done lots of dancing now.
Your kitchen dances now, hashtag kitchen dance.
Yes.
Legendary. That's how Gen Z have found you, isn't it?
Whoa, this is how most of them found me. I put on most frequently asked questions because I got tired of answering certain questions. And one of the questions like, do you get royalties? I do not. And I said, this is what I said. I do not get royalties. I signed when I joined the corporation, I signed the papers that said work for hire. I did not get royalties. Many artists did not get royalties. End of story. Done, done. That's when they started joining. They're going, that's not fair. You got cheated, etc. And that's when the young people jumped on.
Oh, that's
And then from there, it was then they discovered the dancing and everything. But a lot of them will say to me, I want to be you when I grow up. And I go, be you now. Be you now.
Yeah.
And they go, or I just want to be you. And I go, me is taken.
That's a great
Be
one.
you. Be
Yeah.
you. Don't wait to start,
That's,
being yourself.
that's so,
Yeah.
yeah. So for anyone listening who wants to support Muriel, as you know, she's not getting royalties. She sells these fantastic prints, and I got myself one for Christmas as a gift. And
Ah,
you also sell the beautiful earrings that you're wearing today. They're
yes.
on your website, aren't they?
Oh yeah, they are.
You have an online shop where people can really show their love for you.
Yeah.
Anyone who
Yeah.
really finds your
And I have to say, so I have to tell you this, that my stuff is not mass marketed at all. It only goes on my website, and then it goes to my conventions
Mhm.
and my toy conventions and my comic conventions, and I'm doing a whole lot of them this year. So that's where I sell my stuff, and it's made in my house. It's my home studio. My home studio is every single room of my house. It's covered with merch right now. And I finally, because I got back in last end of August or beginning of August, when the Gen Zs were jumping on, right? I got 700 orders in 2 weeks. No, 2 months. 2 months, 700 orders. There's just me at that time. And I had 48 things to pick from. So it wasn't like I was selling widgets,
Yeah.
It's like, oh, and I was up to 3:30 a.m. getting it done. And finally I got somebody hopped on, a young person, and she helped me get out of that hole. And now I have a person that does, I call her my studio manager. She wanted that promotion. I didn't have to give her any more money. She's my studio manager. And so she's there for me. It's taken a load off, really. It really has.
Yeah.
Everything I have made is made either in my studio or locally in Oklahoma. And I say there's an exception. There's a printer in Pennsylvania that just wants to do things for me. So my business cards come from Pennsylvania.
That is so cool. I love that you're still a local business, even though your characters are so widely known. That's really,
Yeah. They
yeah.
asked me to so when they do new shirts with the art on it, and it's by the license, the people that hold the copyright, what do I feel about that? This is what I feel about this. It's not for me, because all I do is I look at it and go like, that's from my drawing they have in the safe.
Mm.
And I don't want to feel bitter about that at all. So what I do is when I do a shirt, it's an original drawing that I've taken that's done lately, or it comes from the manual back then. Comes from the manual. So it's a drawing that I had done for the manual back in the 70s, late 70s, and I take it and I refresh it.
Like this one here.
Yes, it's actually from my original drawing.
I love that. And you know what, Muriel? It makes me sad that the Care Bears now look so different to the originals. I wish I could get my hands on the originals. And
Okay.
I've looked on eBay. I've bought some 80s toys on eBay. I got myself this Keyper. Do you remember these guys where you would
I
open?
know, but it's a darling. It's darling.
Yeah,
Yeah, I love
this
it.
This was also something Santa didn't bring me for Christmas. So I bought this last year and I paid $100 on eBay for this guy.
Oh, wow. Well, it's a beauty. It's a beauty. It's in perfect shape. It's great. Yeah. So, I didn't have my Care Bears. I didn't have Care Bears until my she's my, I call it my closest relative because she lives closest to me. So she's my niece-in-law, and she goes thrift shopping in Texas. She's in Texas, um, probably 5 hours from me or whatever. And she finds 3 of the original Care Bears and sends me the picture, and he goes, would you like these? I go, yes, please. And she didn't make me pay for it. She just like got them for me. It's just lovely, just lovely.
That's so
And
sweet.
then I have other people that, let's see if she's buried here. I have a set of these now, which are
They're beautiful, the rag dolls.
the ragdoll. So they were the first thing made for the Strawberry line.
Yeah.
Was and this is lime chiffon, and here's her, and here's Parfait Parrot.
Oh, I love how they all have a little buddy. That's so cute.
Yes, they do. And so I count that with my characters. Like I've done 239 characters, but that's the last count I did. And they said, well, I said, but the animals count as characters.
Yeah, they do.
So I count them in the whole thing because
Yeah.
I mean, they kept saying, how many characters? Like, what? That's the 80s, everybody. Like, what do you? And I thought, okay. I went through the line. I looked at the computer. It's like, yes, 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 no, yes, 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 yes. So there's a few that I didn't do. And that would be, gosh, do you remember which ones they are? There's twins. Lemonade. I didn't do Lemonade, and I didn't do Tea and Honey. I didn't do those. There was like another team. They brought people in. I had a woman comes in, and she's Janet, and Janet, before she got the job with those characters from Cleveland, illustrated rubber tires. It's just like, because Akron is the rubber tire capital of the United States, and that's where she was from. So she worked for there, and they called her the Hands. And she goes like, she kept looking for another job, and she came working with me. So she was really, she was trained under me, and she sat next to me, and she was so not like me, but I love her. I love her. And the reason she's not like me is that if I have a deadline, I know where that deadline is. I don't have to write anything down. I know where that deadline is. I'm reaching it. I have a inner clock that tells me. I just feel it, like when I have to be done. I always met my deadlines. That's why I just freaked when I had all those orders. Make my deadlines. She, on the other hand, has to time everything out. Everything has to be timed out. Exactly.
Yeah.
And she's now, if anybody wants to see it, Janet Jones, the artist. Janet Jones, that's her name. Fabulous, cute style. That's not mine. It's hers, and it's beautiful, and she's out there still doing it.
Oh, great. I'll find her details and link her below.
Yeah. So Janet Jones, the artist, she does really sweet, cute stuff. Not the animated looking stuff as I do. It's more pattern, but very nice, real nice.
Yeah. I love your color palette as well. You seem to use kind of colors from the summer family if you were to talk about 4 seasons of color palettes.
Yes.
Was that something that you just consciously were drawn to yourself, or is it something that was dictated to you by
No, it's just, well, I was in art school, and I had a teacher that was teaching us art history. We're in commercial art school, and we're learning art history. So anyway, and drawing, and she was Mrs. Ingerman, and she said, we walked in one day, she goes, you call yourself artist? You are an army of wearing the same clothes. At that time it was called stretch pants, but the same thing as leggings, right? And sweatshirts. That was it. She goes, start dressing like artists, start thinking like artists, wake up in the morning, be creative from the time you wake up. That was my wake up call. But I always liked color. I mean, I decided when I was in high school that my color palette, that my favorite colors were orange and green combo. That's what color I had my room. I had like a celery green, and then the orange walls with the celery green trim. So I always loved color.
Yeah.
I did. And now people are like, what's your favorite color? When I was little, it was red. When I was just a little kid, very tiny, red was my favorite color. My dad bought me a red coat from Hudson Bay from Canada. He was a Greyhound bus driver, and he'd bring presents home sometimes. With 7 of us kids, we didn't get a lot, but so I had this beautiful coat. I love that coat. And then he bought me red buckle shoes. My mother would only get me like like foot safe shoes
Yeah.
because I was flat footed. So she thought I needed like these crazy shoes, but I didn't need them at all. So my dad got me the things I loved.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah. I don't know. There was five daughters and 2 sons. So his daughters, he was really closer to his daughters than his sons, although he loved all his children. Um, and the daughters always thought they were first in daddy's mind. They were daddy's daughter.
Yeah. Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, but I knew I was.
And speaking of your childhood, Muriel, was there a book or movie that really made an impression on you as a young kid?
Ooh, that's a wonderful question. Um, the first movie I ever saw at a movie show was The Wizard of Oz.
You saw that in the cinema.
I did.
Oh, I'm
I
so
did.
jealous.
That
Wow.
was, and of course the Wicked Witch. Well, the one I didn't like was the Wicked Witch and the Monkeys. Oh man, that scared me to bits. But the fact that it's such a fantasy, great movie that goes from black and white and then to color. And it was just a lovely, so it was one of the first things that I let my son see on, television was The Wizard of Oz.
It's magical still. I wore
Yeah.
ruby slippers on my wedding day. They were my wedding shoes.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
I love that movie. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my. I mean, so I have to say that. I mean, it's like now there's other movies I love and they're not like mainstream necessarily, Run, Lola, Run. And I like things that are quirky,
Yeah.
um, like not predictable. If you predict it, I'm not there with you. It's just like, well, and I have to say, go back in the time, I'd stay up late to watch movies with my dad. He loved the movies and he's this gorgeous Irish baritone. He says gorgeous voice, fabulous, just fabulous. And we go in and he lists Jeanette MacDonald, Nelson Eddy, and all this kind of stuff back then. But we'd watch these movies together and he critiqued them
Oh.
as we go. So my favorite movie that I could see over and over again, and if it's in a play form, I'll see it over and over again, is Arsenic and Old Lace. Love that movie.
I've
Love
never
it.
seen it. I must check it out.
Oh my gosh. It's so fabulous. I don't know. You have to see it.
Yeah,
Is
I must check it out. And can
I,
I ask, what do you think of the Disney movies, the Disney animations? Because for me, I was a teenager in the 90s when The Lion King and Aladdin and Beauty and the Beast came out, The Little Mermaid.
yeah.
And it was more the music than the animation for me that drew me to those movies. But were there
I,
any Disney movies that you loved, maybe as a young adult or a child?
Yeah, I would I would say that um I like live action better than the animation. Okay. I like Toy Story. That was like I like that one. But most of them, and I like some of the Japanese stuff coming out now. I mean, I like some of that better, or like it's a combination of real life and animation. Uh, so I don't know why I'm not really drawn to that
Yeah.
necessarily. I mean, I just rather see there was Cinderella. There was Leslie Caron, and she played. She was in what was called The Glass Slipper. I think the name of it was, and I just felt I wanted to look and be her. Leslie Caron. It's like, oh, first of all, she's French. It's like, okay, that's my French side. I have a French side too.
Like the beret that you're wearing today. Yeah, very
Thank you.
chic,
Like,
very
I
chic.
don't wear, there's a lot of hats I don't look that are not me. And then there's ones that are this I think it really works for me. And then also cloche that's close like that. And then men's hats that are the trilbies with the skinnier rims. They
Yeah.
look, and I have a really big head. I do. I do for a little person. I wear a man's hat,
Wow.
a 7 1/4 is my head size. So it's like it holds like this crazy brain of mine. So yeah, I do wear a large hat. It's long from here to here, but you get to know your body and
Mhm.
you start loving things that other people have pointed out are like not like regular,
Yeah.
necessarily. I love my hands. I have really good hands, but they're large. And I thought I can use my hands and my whole body to move.
Yeah.
Right? That is like so cool to do that. And before I like people like, don't talk with your hands. They're wrong. You
Oh,
absolutely, but don't lie with your hands.
mm,
You can talk, but don't be lying with your hands. No. Like you'd be like, that's not going with what his mouth is saying. His hands are saying something completely different. It's
yeah,
subtle.
it is. But very true. Very, very perceptive. So we
Yeah.
only have 5 minutes left, Muriel. I don't want to
How'd
keep.
that happen?
I know we've been talking so long. I have a few questions I
Oh
ask
yeah.
everybody. If it's okay to ask, what would be your desert island meal if you had to choose a favorite meal to eat?
Oh, it's got to be desert island. A desert island?
Well, I know it's a bad question.
Deserted island.
Yeah.
I I love fish. Okay, so I don't know if I'd have tacos. My favorite food is fish tacos. By the way, I love fish, so I like probably any kind of fish.
Lovely. Okay, that's cool. And do you have a motto for life?
Well, I have I have lots of mottos for life. Um, what is one that I say that I didn't take from somebody else? But there's a song that goes, life is short. No, life is short. Love is rare. We all deserve to be happy while we're here.
That's beautiful.
Isn't that beautiful? Another thing is like, on the funny side, but it's like, whatever doesn't kill you makes you stranger. Not stronger, just stranger. And that is true.
That's very true. Yeah,
Yeah. And
definitely.
then when I tell it, they share it with the young people. One solution is no solution at all.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
have a B and C plan, you know?
Yeah. We need that, especially in the creative field. This
Yeah.
podcast, Pockets of Joy, is I'm speaking to creative entrepreneurs and performers all about living this creative life. And I do think you need plan B and plan C to back you up in those lean times, you know?
Yes, absolutely. You do. And your whole life, you need them.
Yeah.
You need them. And that's, I don't know. I talk to a lot of young people, anywhere from 8, and till adults. I don't do under 8 because I'm too old for that.
Fair enough. Yeah.
It's like I'm not going to be taking care of them if they drop paints on the floor. I'm not,
Yeah.
they need the mommy.
Yeah.
It's like I love them. I think they're wonderful, and I don't mind, seeing them and all when they come to my meets and greets. But I'm not going to take, I'm not there to take care of them.
Yeah. Muriel, it's been absolutely wonderful. We've only a minute and a half left. Where can people find you and what have you got coming up this year?
Oh gosh. So let me do the coming up this year. So I have Strawberry Shortcake Day, and it's the 5th annual in Tulsa on Friday, and then I go to Alaska for a vacation,
Oh, good.
and then I go to New Jersey, and then I go to Boise, Idaho, and then I go to Warwick, New York.
Oh, wow.
And next year I do a TED Talk in January at a university.
Oh, I'm so happy to hear that. I will look for that. And I will link your social media below and your website below for anyone to follow your work.
Yeah, so mostly I think Instagram is like my busiest because I now have 87,000 followers. But I have to tell people that I actually do, if you comment at all, other than just I love this or whatever, I put it love back. But if you really have a question or anything like that, I do respond.
Excellent. And I know that you've responded to me. And Muriel, this has been a dream come true to meet you and show you my collection of Care Bears. And thank you,
I love it.
Muriel. From all the 80s kids out there, we love you. Thank you so much.
And thank you for going through this process. It was great, though. All right. Bye-bye.
Pockets of Joy. Bye-bye. Wasn't that something? I was on such a high after meeting Muriel. No wonder she's the self-styled queen of cute. I love her joie de vivre, really inspiring. Check out the links below to support her work, and all her movie recommendations and that blueberry muffin recipe is on the Wellness Clinic's podcast page, linked in the show notes. Help me spread the joy by sharing this podcast with a friend. Give us 5 stars, please, and if you got this far, you might want to sign up for my Inner Circle email at the link below. Thank you.